Hello there, students. I am your humble teacher, Okoransis. But my real name is Alexander Melinden, but that hardly matters because Star Wars School is back. And the reason that Star Wars School was unavailable this long time is because we got a contact. We got an email, actually, from a parent asking if baby Yodas are allowed to enter our nursery classes. And, well, technically they're babies, but they're 50 years old, so they are supposed to be well past school at this point. And we had long conversations, which was why we had to close the school down, since the First Order closed it down due to us not fully being able to pay our taxes to the government and rebelling and so on. But finally, we were able to convince the New Republic to let us open again. And we are here to discuss the famous actor Jerome Blake. Now the thing is, you probably don't know who Jerome Blake is, but that's no problem. I'm your teacher. I'm here to teach you. Jerome Blake is a very, very, very important actor for Star Wars, even though he's not that well known. His full name is Jerome St. John Blake, and he probably played the most characters in Star Wars, apart from the voice actors like Corey Burton and James Arnold Taylor, but those really just provided the voices, so they don't count. He's played a lot of characters in The Phantom Menace, in Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. And right now, we'll talk more deeply about him. But first, I have a task for you to do. Take a pen and paper and write down how many characters in total you think he played. Do it now. You're my students. You're my class. You do as I say. And the answer is... Did you write it? The answer is 7. He played 7 characters in total. And his performances were spectacular. Now, the thing is, he started out as not really being that well known. Not many people knew about his existence. But he was so enthusiastic about Star Wars, and one of his friends became like a cameo in the first episode, The Phantom Menace. And Jerome Blake was invited as well. And George Lucas liked the guy so much that he was like, you know what, I think I should give him more roles. And he gave him 7 roles in the first movie. The 7 roles were my favorite roles in the entire series. It was the Vice Chair Massa Meda, who became much more popular in the future. It was Orn Free Ta, that fat Twi'lek senator who you probably looked at and were like, oh, he is very fat. Then, my favorite character, who I owe this channel to, Okoransis. Then, Mick, an almost unknown character in the Senate. Rune Haako, although the voice for Rune Haako was later provided by another actor called James Taylor. And then finally, he played other 2 characters, which were Horrocks Ryder, the senator who was cut out of the final film, which was a real shame, and Graxel Kelvin, who remained mostly in the film and was in the pod race sequence. And I was like, oh my god, Jerome, are you good under all that makeup? Because you might be feeling hard to breathe. Now, let's discuss more about each role he had. The most interesting one, by far, being Massa Meda. Massa Meda is Palpatine's servant who secretly does know that he's Palpatine and is just playing along. And in the first episode, it was all Jerome Blake. The voice, which he had 2 lines, but he probably had more, which Lucas just cut and never released. And he had the entire tentacles hanging from his head, the makeup, the blue horns, and so on, and the costume. It was all him. However, when it came to episode 2, they were like, you know, we're filming this in, where are we filming this? In Australia, I think. And Jerome probably couldn't arrive there or something, so they instead chose a similar looking actor who would be unrecognizable under all that makeup, David Bowers. And David Bowers shot all the scenes, but then Jerome Blake came and basically voiced over Bowers with the voice. So all the lines you hear in Attack of the Clones are basically on the screen, it's David Bowers, but the voice is provided by Jerome Blake again. And in Revenge of the Sith, This is a very hard one because both Jerome Blake and David Boreas perform Masameda in that movie in different scenes, and we don't really know which one is which. We don't know who the voice belonged to in this scene, for example.
Senator Organa, the Supreme Chancellor requests your presence at a special session of Congress.
Or so, and that's why it's so complicated. Next, of course, came the wonderful Senator Ornfree Ta. In the first episode, he was played by Jerome Blake, of course. But the thing is, Jerome Blake had a lot of screen time, according to rumors. But as we see in these photos, he had a lot more screen time that wasn't in the movie, because this scene definitely wasn't in the movie. Bib Fortuna was not in the Senate in the movie, which means this scene was cut. So Jerome probably had a lot more screen time. In episodes 2 and 3, an actor called Matt Rowan was replacing Jerome Blake and played the roles. As for Rune Haako, the greedy Neimoidian and chief assistant to Newt Gunray, Rune Haako was basically Jerome Blake wearing this mechanical mask which moved on this special remote control.
Your mouth as if you're doing exaggerated dialogue. Does it work?
Exaggerated dialogue.
Oh, yes. It kind of moves. Yeah.
Some people pay huge amounts of money to have a woman put them in this kind of thing.
Yeah, well, not me.
The mouth moved mechanically.
Well, what are you doing there?
Can you talk without moving your mouth too much, or just so you keep the jaw closed? Try it now.
We are increasing security on all Naboo detention camps.
And the voice was replaced by James Taylor, as I already said. In episode 2, Rune Haako was played by another actor and voiced by another actor. In episode 3, he was voiced by another actor and played by another actor again. So Rune Haako is by far the most complicated character on the list. Then, of course, we have Oppo Rancisis. Oppo Rancisis appeared in both episodes 1 and 2. But the thing is, in 1, it was all Jerome Blake, but in 2, they just took Jerome Blake's performance from episode 1, cut it out, and then put it in episode 2. So it weren't new scenes, it was just footage that he already filmed for episode 1, reused, recycled. Reduce, reuse, recycle, boys. And yes, you there. Don't throw that plastic bottle in the bin, we need to recycle things. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Then, of course, we have the wonderful Graxel Kelvin, played by Jerome as Saint John Blake again. Horrocks Rider, as I already said, all his scenes were removed, and Mick McGrath, we see a bit of him. Also, Ornfree Ta later had a much bigger role in the Clone Wars, where he was voiced by voice actor Phil Lamar. And another thing about Jerome Blake is that he was also an actor who portrayed Qui-Gon Jinn and Jar Jar Binks and others in the animatics. Animatics are basically just test screenings before they actually shoot the film. So this was like basically a preparation. This was like they were like shooting a fake scene to see how it would work before they actually shot the actual thing. So hopefully that taught you something. I'm a good teacher after all. I know how to teach people to recycle things. And I taught you something about this veteran voice actor. Actor. Thank you very much, my dear students. Oh, what is that? The lesson ended. Oh, good. I'm gonna go eat my lunch. I just took a Nuna and cut it into pieces alive. And I also have a shack which I'm gonna grill alive as it screams. I'm sorry for the brutal details. Goodbye, because I need to eat. I'm planning to open my Star Wars McDonald's. What is it gonna be about? Probably about something like that. I don't know.